and you broke your sound.
Welcome back to Vandy Podcast. This is episode 4, and this episode is going to be with Tyler Drueke from Drueke Racing and Bad Addisyn from Bad Addisyn Racing, and it's going to be a pretty lit episode.
All right, cool. So, this past week you went to Tulsa. How was that? How was it like when you first went out on the track?
Tulsa Shootout, yeah, last week was really fun. When I first went on the track in practice, pretty excited and nervous at the same time, and then I didn't go as fast as I thought I was going to go because I was nervous when I got there. Like, it's one of those times when you're not nervous to go. Like, you're not nervous when you think about it, but then when you actually do it, you're nervous. So, and then on Wednesday, the heat race, I started 6th in the heat race and fell back to 8th, but it was a learning experience. So I wasn't too mad about it, but my second time in a car, so pretty good.
Yeah, it was your first time. So where'd you go after your heat race?
I actually ended up in one of the 6B features in the restricted, and I started 11th. Actually, I was supposed to start 10th, but I didn't know that the guy in 10th, his car wouldn't start, so I probably should have started on the outside of the guy that I passed during the race. I would have probably stayed up with the pack, but unfortunately on the start I started behind the guy that I passed, and took me a couple laps to pass him, and I was kind of far behind a big pack, I guess, in the front. But I stayed up with them and ended up 9th. So I was pretty excited, I guess, about it, but it wasn't too exciting. But it was a fun week for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess we shall roll in with Tyler Drueke. So see you there, guys. Welcome back to Vandy Podcast. I'm Coltrane, also known as Choo Choo.
And I'm Camden, also known as the Commander.
So in this podcast, we are with Tyler Drueke. Tyler, how you doing?
Pretty good. Just enjoying the Saturday night.
Yeah, I wish we were at the racetrack right now.
It's better than the cold, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So how has your season gone? You got a couple wins at Eagle Raceway, and probably went to a couple different tracks throughout the season, but how's your season gone?
It was pretty good. Like I said, I think we had 3 wins at Eagle. And then I don't know. I think we won at Denison. I won a few in Cameron. In total, I think we had 9 wins on the year. I had all the stats written down somewhere, but I wrote them down and I kind of forgot about them after that because they didn't mean all that much. So, but yeah, no, it was pretty good. We up and down. We tried a lot of stuff. We learned a lot, and we won a few along the way. So it was pretty good.
Yeah. So actually, my dad, he told me that you started off in a micro sprint, and that's what I pretty much did, except I did your go-karts. But so did you ever go to the Tulsa Shootout with your micro, or did you just not?
No, we went 1 year. Let's see, that would have been probably 2007, I want to say. I raced restrictor down there 1 year. We missed the show by like 4 spots or something like that out of I think they call it the last chance qualifier down there. But
yeah.
So yeah, we didn't make the show. My little brother, he ran the junior sprint down there the 1 year, and I know he got the last transfer spot and went like 24th to 9th. He's listening in the background, but yeah, 24th to 9th in the junior sprints. So, but no, we haven't. I've been down there and I've watched it quite a few times, but I've only raced in it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to you about it. I don't remember when. It was sometime at Eagle Raceway. You said that you like raced at a track in Waverly or something.
Yep, Wavelink Raceway Park. So when I was growing up, we had Waverly, and then we'd go out to Hastings, and then we'd go down to Sweet Springs, Missouri for all their big shows. But I started racing junior sprints at Waverly in 2005, and I raced them all the way through 2009. I ran juniors for 2 years, restrictor 1 year. Um, they didn't really have a split up stock and outlaw back then. They kind of just put you all together because didn't have enough cars to support both classes. So I ran 1 year with a stock motor in kind of what we called the open class, and then we got a big motor the second year and ran like what you'd call outlaw nowadays. And then after that, we went 360 racing. So
Yeah. So, what actually made you start racing micros? Like, did anyone else race before you in your family, or what?
no, so um, Matt Zoz, who helps me now, his nephew was Jake Ida, and Jake's older sister AJ was in my class, and so I knew of mini sprints before I met them, but they moved into the school district, and Matt farms and my dad trucks, and I would have been 11 or 12 years old then. And we learned that they raced. So we went out to Waverly one night and watched them at the end of the year. And they let me drive their junior sprint after the races one night. And after I drove one, I told mom and dad we couldn't come back until we had our own. And it was later that year we bought our first junior sprint from Cody Ledger's dad, Tracy. So they were getting some new cars. So we bought one of their old cars, and that's how we got started.
Yeah, would you? That's pretty cool. But like, would you change how you started?
Um, so my mom tells me that when I was 6 years old, I had it figured out that you had to be 8, and then when I turned 8, they dropped the age to 6 to start in the junior sprint. So, personally, I guess I wanted to race a lot earlier on than I did, but I really didn't start racing until I was 12. Um, but no, I mean the juniors and the micros, we learned a lot. Um, I had a crew chief at the time, and he kind of took care of everything. And at the time, I probably didn't realize how good I had it. Him taking care of all our stuff, but it was a blessing and I don't know, a downfall, I guess, because I didn't learn maybe as much as I could have in those years. So,
Yeah.
um,
I,
yeah, learn to work on your own stuff. That's a big key because then you kind of control your own destiny. It's great to have some other people help you, but if them other people quit you and they don't help you no more, then you're just kind of you're you're swimming upstream. So
yeah. Me and my
Yeah,
dad have to build the new A class micro sprint for me. So
you'll learn a lot. Take it apart, rebuild it. Take it apart, rebuild it again. Like
uh,
you just yeah, it's a big help to learn how to work on them because, like I
yeah,
said, then you can take matters into your own hands.
yeah. Like this season was my first season, so my dad helped me and stuff. But next season, he said that he's not gonna help me, and then, but he's just gonna be there for questions and stuff, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to do everything.
Yep. So like the I think I've heard somebody else say it, but the their dad or whatever, he's willing to help, but he's only going to work on the thing when you're working on it yourself. And I think that's a big deal. Like your dad shouldn't be working on it while you're at baseball practice or you're playing video games or whatnot. No, if you're working on it, he's working on it. And then you can kind of learn together because it
Yeah,
does take help. You can't do it all on your own. So
yeah.
yeah. So like, I heard you said you went from micros to 305s to 360s. do you ever plan to like move up to 410s next year or anytime soon?
Yeah. So back when I moved up from micros, they didn't have 305s around here.
Oh,
I think I-80 had a 305 class, but they didn't have very many of them. So we went straight to 360s. And then, after a few years, we ran the 305s then as kind of a supplement and whatnot. And here the last few years, that's pretty much what we've done predominantly is run 305s and sprinkled in 360 stuff here and there. But we're in the works as far as the 410 thing goes. It's in the works. We'd like to get some experience and give that a try. There'd be a steep learning curve, just like when we went from micros to 360s. But hopefully, with just the knowledge of the cars over the years, hopefully maybe we can shorten that learning curve as to what it was back when we first got started.
Did you Raceway? Did they have 360 sprint cars, or what they have?
So when I moved up from micros in 2010, um, there was only really 360 cars around Nebraska here. So we actually traveled with the ASCS Midwest Tour the first 2 years. We'd go up to Hartford, South Dakota, Park Jefferson, go down into Kansas and run with the NCRA. They didn't make too many trips to Missouri. I think I went, and then my third year we started racing weekly at Eagle. That was in 2012, and that's when we got our first win in the sprint car.
do you have a favorite track in 305 or 360?
Any one that I can win on is standard answer. I like the ones where you win. So, I've won my fair share at Eagle. We won a few at Park Jefferson. I really like that place. Eagle's probably one of the raciest joints we've been to. I've had a fair share of wins at Cameron, Denison. Never won at Belleville, but we really like going to Belleville, especially when they have their big races. As time has gone on, I like going to the big races and getting a big crowd and lots of cars and prestige and things like that. Make it. Then if you can pull off one of those wins, it just means that much more.
Yeah, would you rather race the 360 or the 305?
Um, 360s I think just naturally the faster you go, the more fun it is. But I don't like paying for that stuff, so they're very expensive, and it's a different level of competition too. It's super tough. It, there's more things that you have to do right to be able to win a race the faster you go, and it's easier to screw them up too. So no, I mean, I like the 360s. If I had it my way and I didn't have to pay the bills, we'd be 410 World of Outlaw racing. But sometimes as you grow up, you'll learn that you can't do everything you want to do. So you just try and do what you can afford and what I feel like we can be successful in, and we build up from there.
Yeah.
I don't like racing. I've come across this winter. We talked about this. I said I don't love racing. I love winning. So
Yeah.
Racing's only fun if you're winning, in my opinion. There's been a few years where we didn't win any races, and I didn't have a whole lot of fun. So that's kind of where it comes from. So we try and take the right steps. And even in our limited 360 races, we've won a few here the last couple of years. So try and be smart about it. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Like this season, I guess you could say it was fun, but it wasn't really fun because it was like a learning year, I guess.
Well, so when we won 3 track championships in a row at Eagle. It got to be to the point where we just knew what we were going to do before we showed up. So naturally, we started changing things that we probably didn't need to change. And then you kind of, because you're always trying to get better. Sometimes to get better, you got to get worse first.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of dialed ourselves out, but then when you dial yourself out, seems like it takes twice as long to get yourself back to where you're supposed to be. And so, no, this year was about learning and trying to. We tried. I think my little brother told me we tried 10 different bar and blocking combinations this year, which we only raced. I think we ran 39 times. So one out of every 4 nights, basically, we were changing the bars and changing our block heights and stuff, and how we were putting jack and weight in the car, and where we were putting the rear tires and everything. So it's more just tinkering, trying to get better. And what we found was we hit on a setup there midsummer, and we won a race at Eagle, but then we'd go back with the same setup, a few weeks later, and it wasn't consistent. We were really fast one night, but then we were junk the next night, and then we'd be fast again, and then we'd be junk. So it just wasn't consistent. So then the chase is on, and we're back to searching again. So, I probably enjoy working with our team and setting the cars up and changing the setups, changing the wings, changing the bars, shocks, just tinkering, trying to get better.
Yeah. Before we let you go, do you have any tips for me and Cole?
Well, I already gave you a couple. Work on your own stuff. Try and be smart about how fast you climb the ladder. You don't learn a lot by getting your butt kicked and not really racing against anybody. So, conquer one thing and then move on to the next. Seems to work out pretty decent for us, but pay attention, work on your own stuff, and talk to people. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You can always learn from somebody, and sometimes you can learn from people that don't even run the same type of car that you do. You can find inspiration for things that could help you in a lot of different ways. So, I read a lot, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and just pay attention to what everybody else is doing.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, Cole?
Do you actually have anyone that you would like to thank from this year, like sponsors wise?
Yeah, no, we got a really big group of partners that help us. Valco Wheels, Drueke Trucking and Ranch, Zaz Farms, Jeffries Trucking, Piccadilly Rose Hill Ranches, Angels Energy Service, Johnson Farms, Schaefer's Oil, TD Signs and Graphics, Jim Bell, Sardison Racing, J&J Auto Racing, Speedway Motors Racing Engines, CSI Shocks. I'm in the shop. I'm off my game. I haven't done this in a while. Forward Bite. Thank your dad. And Icon Pistons. 402 Massage. Agri Builders. Those are the main ones. And then Gordon Electric, the Eggert family, Double Z Express. There's a lot of people that help out that maybe their name isn't on the car and they know who they are and stuff. So we got a pretty big crew too. My dad, my mom, my wife, Brandy, my brother Austin, Matt Zaz is a big part of our team. He does a lot for us. Dustin Gertis. We're actually Dustin came up today. We've been gutting the inside of our race car truck. We're going to remodel it for next year. So there's a lot of people. We've just accumulated a lot of people that help us out over the years, and they all help us get to victory lane.
All right. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
No, thanks for having us. You guys stay with it. Keep after it. It's you'll never conquer the racing game. You'll always be learning, and there's always, just when you think you got it figured out and you're fast, somebody else comes along and whoops you and makes you get back to work again. So stay with it, and hopefully you rack up some trophies next year, both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, see ya.
See you guys.
It was a fun one with Tyler Drueke. You learned a bunch of tips from him, and
now we're here with Bad Addisyn from Massachusetts.
We are here with Bad Addisyn from Bad Addisyn Racing. Addison, how are you doing?
Really good.
Yeah,
you know?
so let's talk a little bit about Forward Bite. How did that all get started?
You know, Mark came to us, and that's how we got started. You know,
Yep, it's pretty fun when you grow a company, grow with the racing family, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So how did you do this season?
We did pretty good this season. You know, it was a little tough with the virus, but and we raced 12 races and we got 4 wins at Dodge and Turkey Trot.
Yep. Did you race at any other tracks or just those 2?
We raced at just those 2 this year because one of our home tracks, Lebanon Valley Speedway, wasn't open, so we only had those 2 tracks to go to.
When you came down to Nebraska for the Forward Bite Hoosier Daddy, did you have a lot of fun or?
Oh, it was so much fun, getting to meet the Vandys, and we made a lot of new friends, and we had a win in the heat, but we had bad luck with the flat tire in the feature. We still had so much fun out there in Nebraska.
Yeah, it's fun when you leave the state or go halfway across the country to meet these people that you've never met before.
It was very fun, I mean, I really love meeting new people, so it was awesome.
Yeah, so do I.
Yes. Do you plan to come to the Forward Bite Hoosier Daddy next year?
We're planning on it, yes. And we're gonna try to win it.
That'll be fun since you know the track and like a lot of people will be there.
Yep. Yeah, I mean we've run it once before, so it's gonna be a little bit easier, but let's hope we don't have a flat tire this time.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there. Yeah, do you plan to, what are your plans for next year? Do you plan to race at any other tracks than the 2 that you raced at this year, or do you just race local again?
We're planning on racing down south. We're planning on racing at new tracks to get more experience, and we're gonna hope for the best to get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more tracks you race at, the better you get at racing and finding lines at the tracks and getting faster and faster per lap.
We're gonna go racing at the BMS series, the money series down in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll be fun. Is that with your fly cart or your winged?
Both.
Oh, nice.
Now, do you plan to go move up class or just stick with the champ cart and flat cart for now?
We're gonna try our best to move up to the micro sprint and take a ride in a sprint car, but if that doesn't work out, we already have stuff planned to run a sportsman at Lebanon Valley up in New York.
Yeah, those micros, they have the power. A little bit more than go.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, they race those down in Kansas City, I think.
We're gonna run the home tracks when we're not on the road. Run for points.
Yeah, next year this year should be fun, I guess. This upcoming 21 season.
Yeah. We're gonna try our best this year.
Yeah. So before we let you go, do you have anyone that you'd like to thank?
We have to thank our sponsors, Forward Bite, Adirondack Off-Road, Line X, Capital Tint, P&T Speed Lab, Clifford Oil, JC Liberty Package, Mac Tools, Prime Tools, and everybody else that helps. You gotta thank my crew, my mom, my dad, my brother and my sister, Wyatt and Chase, Corey and Tuggy. I mean, they've helped us a lot this year and the years that we've raced.
I
But
see on your Facebook, you got quite a bit of pit crew.
thanks.
Yeah, so wish you luck next year or this upcoming year, and good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. We appreciate Forward Bite and we appreciate you guys letting us come on the
Yeah,
thank you.
podcast.
Thanks for coming on.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was Bad Addisyn from Bad Addisyn Racing, and we wish Addisyn and Tyler Drueke from the best of luck in the 2021 season.
This last week we hit 500 followers on Facebook, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you. We'll see you guys next episode 5.
Yeah.
And then you broke your sound.